Hello and welcome to episode number 8 of the TEW 2020 Challenge Run. This is going to be the final episode of Friday Night SmackDown on Fox before the Payback pay-per-view this Sunday, and also the final episode of weekly television full stop before the two-night pay-per-view extravaganzas known as Backlash and Payback. So without any further ado, let's just jump straight into the show. We start off as hot and heavy as any episode of Friday Night SmackDown on Fox starts, with the Miz and Morrison versus New Day dance contest. We open the show with Paige in the ring, a table with Corey Graves and 24/7 champion Rob Gronkowski, who will be serving as the official judges for tonight's super important number one contenders dance contest. Both teams come out. New Day come out first, and then Miz and Morrison come out because they're the champions. They get the championship entrance for this dance contest in their super dance gear. Miz and Morrison start off, some weird white guy music starts playing, and then Miz and Morrison will start doing the cringy white dad at the family barbecue dance moves, and they're really terrible, and everyone's just cringing. Rob Gronkowski, though, he's getting involved. He's loving it. He's up on his feet, clapping, cheering Miz and Morrison on, when all of a sudden R-Truth crawls out from underneath the table, and he rolls up Rob Gronkowski. 1, 2, 3, and in the middle of this dance contest, R-Truth wins the 24/7 championship from Rob Gronkowski, which of course gets a pop, and all the commotion distracts Miz and Morrison, and it throws them off their game, so their dances is even worse, and they lose their rhythm, and they kick off when the song ends because they're like, oh, R-Truth distracted us because he won that title. Gronk stands up. He's whoa, what happened there? And then he sits back down. The New Day do their standard New Day dance moves. And then Gronk, he's so into the New Day. He loves the New Day. He's lost his 24/7 title, but he's still feeling the movement. It's still party time for the Gronk. He gets up out of his table and he gets in with New Day and he starts joining in with them. And then Big E and Kofi are like, nah, go sit down, Gronk. We don't want you here. And then it's time to review who will win this all-important dance contest. Gronkowski emphatically backs the New Day because he loved their dance moves so much that they made him get up and jive with them. Corey Graves, of course, backs his boys, Miz and Morrison. And then Paige has the deciding vote. And she's like, well, who do the audience want to win? Do you want Miz and Morrison? Boo! Or do you want New Day? Yay! And of course, because the crowd cheer New Day, she declares New Day the winners of the dance contest. Miz is irate. He goes to attack Kofi and Big E. But they send Miz and Morrison packing. They can't cheap shot the New Day. And New Day are officially now the number one contenders for the tag team titles. A lot to unravel here. And a very hot and heavy opening to SmackDown on Fox. New 24/7 champion, R-Truth, Miz and Morrison lose to New Day in the dance contest because of Rob Gronkowski, and they're going a backlash, or payback even, to face Miz and Morrison for the SmackDown tag titles. First bit of action of the night is the only appropriate way to follow up that dance contest is with Elias versus Mojo Rawley. Elias beats him with a top rope double stomp, apparently. More hot tag team action is the Usos take on the Forgotten Sons. Jey Uso pins Steve Cutler with a double super kick. Again, Forgotten Sons at the moment just Wesley Blake and Steve Cutler, but maybe eventually someone will take these two under their wing. Will it be Jackson Riker? No. Will it be someone else? Maybe. Then we just get a hype package building up Sheamus versus Elias for the pay-per-view. Maybe the kickoff. It's between this and the Bobby Roode Shorty G match. I don't know which one I'm going to put on the kickoff. It probably will be this because it's Sheamus versus Elias. Just how this all started. Elias beating Sheamus and then Sheamus getting annoyed and breaking his guitar and kicking him in the face. Very simple stuff for a very simple program between two very simple wrestlers. Women's action. Sonya Deville defeats Dana Brooke in 8:50. That's about it for that match again. More just wrestling. Sonya gets a 46, Dana 31. I forgot to put Otis on screen here, but Paige is in her office after sitting back down after judging the New Day Miz Morrison dance contest when Bo Dallas interrupts. He's gassed because he won last week against Dolph Ziggler and Otis helped save his job. And it's Otis teaming with Bo Dallas. Long story short is Otis and Bo Dallas because he said he'd owe Otis everything for keeping his job around. So he's going to team with Otis tonight against Dolph Ziggler and King Corbin. And yeah, that'll build to Payback, where it's going to be Otis and Mandy against Dolph and Sonya. Robert Roode defeats Grand Metalik in 10-13 with a trap with a crossface. 61 for Roode, 48 for Metalik. 61 for the match, that's pretty good. Rob Gronkowski, he's backstage after losing his 24/7 title. He meets up with his old friend Mojo Rawley. And he's like, hey, Brody Mojo, I saw you lost again tonight. You've not had a good run on SmackDown since I've been here, have you? And Mojo's like, no, I haven't. I've been losing, but hey, you're not exactly a winner. You lost your 24/7 title in that opening segment dance contest. So these two old chums are having a quick catch up about how they're both losing, when all of a sudden an angry Miz, flanked by John Morrison, will barge in. Miz would curse out Rob Gronkowski for throwing him off his game during the dance contest, and how it's all his fault that they've now got to defend their titles against New Day at Payback, because he had to throw everyone off their game by being their 24/7 champion and having R-Truth roll him up, and just by being Gronkowski. And then Mojo sort of steps in. He's like, oh, you leave my pal alone. He's Rob Gronkowski. He's famous footballer. What are you? You're just a fucking reality show loser. And then Morrison like holds Miz back because he wants to get in a fight. Like, save it for payback. So a bit of heat between Rob Gronkowski and the Miz here. Oof. Future of the women's division, my arse, if this is the ratings they're going to get. But Raquel Gonzalez defeats Tamina in 5:18 with a tequila shot. Tamina 37, Raquel 24. They didn't like the match because they're not interested in either of them. Apparently they hate the Mean Queen, Tamina, which they should not do because there's nobody on the roster meaner than her. And Raquel is new, so I guess, yeah. And she's not really the star. She's the Diesel of the group, which before Diesel became world champion, of course. So, but after the match, Tamina was in the ring, and Dakota and Raquel are beating her up because, of course, it takes two women to even kind of get some sort of resemblance to being close to the level of meanness that Tamina possesses. And Lacey interrupts. She comes to make the save. She scares off Dakota. Tamina drops Raquel with a big super kick. Lacey grabs the mic and says that at Payback, it will be Lacey Evans and Tamina tagging on pay-per-view against Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai in what should definitely be the match of the night. The Mean Queen and the Mean Mom gonna stick it to the two newbies. Here is Otis and Bo against Corbin and Ziggler. It's Dolph Ziggler and Corbin defeat Otis and Bo Dallas when Dolph Ziggler pinned Bo with a zigzag. 33 for Bo, 66 for Otis, 67 for both Corbin and Ziggler. Again, these matches are doing alright.
Yeah. Let's go!
Women's action. Carmella defeats Sasha Banks by 10-11 by illegally using the ropes for leverage. Bayley's best friend. Bayley was on commentary for this, watching her best friend get beat by Carmella after Carmella cheated. Because I'm not going to have Carmella beat Sasha Banks clean. So it's not like a heel turn tease or anything, it's just I wanted Sasha to have an excuse because she should not be losing clean to Carmella. That's all it is. But that does give heat and credibility to Carmella heading into Payback this Sunday, where she will face Bayley for the SmackDown Women's title. Another hype segment, just going over the store contract signing last week between Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman. Again, going over the history and how Roman's like, you owe your whole career to me. You're only the world champion because I wasn't around. I made you famous. Blah blah blah. And Braun's like, raw, big dog, you're going to get these hands. I'm a monster among men, Braun, etc. Heading into the much anticipated another match in their storied rivalry at Payback. Main event time, 78, another good main event. It's Drew Gulak, Jeff Hardy, and Daniel Bryan who defeat Cesaro, Nakamura, and Sami Zayn when Daniel Bryan defeats Cesaro with the cattle mutilation. I'm interested in the ratings because Jeff 69, Bryan 78, Gulak 51, Sami 69, Nakamura 72, Cesaro 64. Yeah, I guess that's fair. So I'm now starting to see that now I've dropped to medium, I think it is. I am now, matches like this that would have got 78s on 2016 are now scoring, like, because normally, like, this would have got like a 60 because, I don't know, it's just, I seem to have got the hang of it. Maybe multi-man tag matches are just better on this game. Anyway, show scores as a 73. We still lose pop, so it's not quite as good as last week's, but it's still an improvement. It's still a green show, which is good for us, believe it or not. So maybe the pay-per-views will be right. We'll also have to see next time, if you will join us next time, for the Raw exclusive Backlash pay-per-view, and then following that, the SmackDown exclusive Payback pay-per-view. Hopefully I'll see you then.